What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Are you excited for another fantastic addition to the Tribune show? I know I am. A lot leading up to this. Done a lot of announcement for it, so I hope that you guys are pumped. We have a very special guest that is going to be joining us, so we have lots to cover, but did want to get into just kind of the title of today's show, shout you guys out. As you guys know, I've been following a very obvious theme going through these Tribune shows. We've been going up all the chakra systems, and we finally made it all the way up to the crown, all the way up to the top of the head. So that is for the title of the show. When you look into that, you realize that everything is connected. We're all connected to source, and everything is okay. So it's all chill. With that in mind, we are going to be going into some pretty dark stuff today. So I will forewarn any of you who have a squeamish stomach, or who don't like really tough stories, then this one may not be for you. I don't know exactly what all my guest is going to reveal today, but she has had apparent involvement with the CIA and some other shadow organizations, doing some pretty crazy stuff. But let's not hear it from me. I'm sure you all want to hear it right from the horse's mouth. It is going to take me just a second due to some restrictions. My guest was limited to TikTok, so I'm going to go ahead and get that pulled up for you guys. But as I do, let's go ahead and do a major shout out for all you who have decided to join us today. As always, Jeremy Bird, much love, my friend. What is going on? Question the answers. Rethink Inc. That is a fair prediction, my friend. Of course, Mama Needs a Dab. Nominal FE Nation. Admiral Dickie Bird, what is up, my friend? Big Pine Sailing. You did wake up in time. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and shout out Andrew B. What is up, my friend? We got 4 of you watching. So if you want to be shouted out, you know what to do. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and kick off this live over here in the TikTok, get my guest over, and it is going to be a blast. So let's go ahead and get ready to mute all these random TikToks that are about to play. Perfect. It already is. Awesome. Okay. All right. Just give me 1 second. We'll get it kicked off. You guys, of course, won't lose audio, but I'm going to lose my monitoring for just a second because I got to plug in. And, we'll get things rocking and rolling. Folks, if you have questions for the guest, her name is Angela. Feel free to fire them in the comments. Of course, any support is appreciated. You can send that support. The best place is going to be to the Cash App, MrTribune. We do really appreciate it. And, of course, we do have a website that is very well organized that you can go to see our fundraising campaign. We are currently trying to raise $2,500 for a upgraded streaming setup, so you guys can definitely help me out with that, and it is much appreciated. We also have the merch store is live, really awesome, so definitely go check it out. Okay, let's go ahead and get this kicked off. Thank you once again for joining me. All right, it always wants to take my background away. No worries. Let's just get it right back here. Boom. All right. She should see our live and be joining here in just a second. Let me go ahead and find us here. Boom. Let me go ahead and find us here. Boom. All right. Go ahead and mute that. And all right. You guys should be able to hear me loud and clear. What is up, everybody? We got a special program for you today over here from the TikTok side, streaming over to the YouTube and Rockfin side, so you guys can catch the full stream over there. We are going to have a special guest on, Angela Maggard, who has connections to the CIA, who's done some pretty crazy projects. Supposedly, let's go ahead and have her on and get into it. Where would she be? Gotta be an easier way. There we go. All right, perfect. She should be here any second, and we will get things rocking and rolling. What is up, Jess Palmer, Scott W.? Thanks for joining us.
Hello, how are you?
Angela, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on short notice.
Oh, that light. Here, let me move. Like where I'm sitting at, that light's right behind me, and it's like kind of obnoxious.
No
Okay,
worries.
that's a little better.
All
I
right. So,
appreciate you talking about this stuff. I know it's
yeah,
a little difficult
absolutely.
for people.
Yeah, there's a lot of understandably, a lot of uncomfortableness that comes around these types of subjects. The first thing that people want to think is that something, like this can't possibly be true. But, before we even go into too much of, what this is, I'd like to go ahead and get into a little bit of your story, your background, how you came to, this position and to knowing what you know.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try and censor it just because of what the platform we're on. I'm gonna, spell out certain words because that seems to be the only way I don't get bananaed.
It
But
would
I
be
was,
safe since we are
yeah,
we are on YouTube as well, so I do appreciate that.
of course, yeah. I want the message to keep going, so even if I have to tell it slowly. But I was kidnapped and sold as a baby. My father was handed a baby October 27th, 1987, the day he became a Green Beret. And I know this because I have it on VHS tape. He had no knowledge of me going to be there at all. He came home to a baby in his house. I did not know that I was kidnapped. I was always told that I was adopted, but that was something I found on later on, like in my teen years. So, like, it's very conflicting finding out all this stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's like you get a puzzle piece, you put it together, and then you find out it's not your puzzle, and you go to the next one. And it's really obnoxious. It's exhausting. I have PTSD because of all this stuff, but I'm blessed that I have a really nice therapist. She took the time to look into my story, but unfortunately, my therapist had to get a therapist. So that was a little traumatizing. But my dad tried to go AWOL with me in 1991, 3 months after my adoption was finalized. For a man of that caliber to risk his career, lose custody, well, main primary custody of his daughter because of it, I mean, there has to be a reason behind it. I was moved to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base directly after that with my adopted mother. Now, my grandmother, the reason why this is important, my grandmother is a psychic remote viewer for the CIA. She was a part of Grill Flame, Project Stargate, and Project Starflame. It's declassified. Her name is Ann Jutman.
Okay.
It's
What are
crazy.
some of the things that Ann Jutman would be, might be known for?
Well, she was one of the original for psychic remote viewing. She was a psychic for the CIA. She's alive still. She lives in Georgia. She now works for a corporation called PSI Tech.
PSI Tech, is that like
Yes.
another
Yeah, that project
company
never
studying?
stopped. Yeah, they just turned it into a business.
Oh wow.
Yeah. You can actually go to the website and look it up. The advertisement, it's disgusting. That's war crimes here on U.S. soil,
So
in my
tell us,
personal opinion.
so you can. I know you might be being a little bit more vague because you're worried about the platform, and I totally
Yeah, I'm
understand
reading
that.
some of the comments and like some of these people. I've had a lot of people tell me to unalive myself. They don't believe that my mother was unalived on my birthday in 2018, even though I post my real name. And if you scroll down on my page, I've posted everything. Like my first three pin posts are about my dad, my mom, my grandmother. If you scroll down, I've talked about my mom. Like it's just a lot of mean people on this app.
So we're kind of, and I hate to do this, but we're kind of like jumping around all over the place, and I'd like to
Yeah,
kind of
anxiety.
get like
If
a,
you could keep me on focus, I'd appreciate that. That's
yeah.
something that goes along with. I don't mean to
I
be like that.
understand.
It just
No,
happens.
you're fine. You're fine. But let's try to narrow down and try to get maybe some more details of the story. So you were adopted,
Yes.
and
My sealed adoption file is missing completely from Raleigh Vital Records. It is not there. That is one of the main reasons I'm on this platform. I'm just trying to get awareness because I've gone up there, I've recorded it. Like, I know where it's at. It's in the state of Ohio, in Springfield, at my adopted mother's house, where I was tortured for a very long time, locked in a
I
dog
guess
cage,
I guess
stabbed.
the big question would be, kind of to start off, would be how you even, because you said you didn't find out until later on. How did you find out initially that you were adopted?
Well, my dad had always told me that I was adopted. He said that most kids were stuck with their, parents. I was chosen. That's how he had always worded it. He made it sound, he was a great dad. It was my mom that most of the trauma came from. So he had kind of turned it into something that wasn't so negative.
Gosh, and what specifically was the purpose of your adoption?
That's where I'm trying to find out. I have suspicions just because, my I'm trying to word this properly. I don't know if it's all tied together. I don't know, and I don't know if that's just me compartmentalizing it from all the trauma, but I hope it's not. Just because like I have always had issues and or occurrences with paranormal, and I was always told that that stuff was not true. And then to find out 3 years ago that my grandma worked for the CIA, let alone that she was a psychic, it really messed with me because I spent the majority of my life thinking that I was crazy, having pills shoved down my throat, strapped to a chair, forced to journal, which the journaling turned out to a positive thing. I've never stopped. So I've been writing since age 7. That's a lot of trauma that's been documented. Because I watched Matilda and Harriet the Spy, and all I got from those movies was kids could hold bad people accountable. You just had to prove it. So I started telling doctors, because I grew up in a very controlled environment. Once my mom got custody of me after my dad went AWOL, I was moved to Ohio, and there was no normal life. I don't have any memories of having sleepovers or playing with friends. All my entire life consisted of my adopted mother and the family members that did not go up against her when it came to custody and doctors. That was it. And that was my reality till almost 12 when she tried to kill me. She lost away her rights, and my dad came back from Africa and got custody of me. And I was moved back to Fort Bragg, and everything was swept under the table. And I had a few years of normal until 9/11, and then everything got crazy again. My dad was one of the men to save Jessica Lynch in 2003. He was a very respected man. It's kind of really hard. I feel bad for him just because, like, he made it look so easy. And I know that that had to been a burden. Just like my birth mother. I don't hate her. I have no animosity towards her whatsoever. I'm thankful that I accidentally found her. I don't have an explanation for how I found her. I'm not really religious. I am spiritual, but I don't know what's right or wrong.
Just kind of happened by coincidence.
Yes, complete accident.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, and thankfully there's still people alive that were there that witnessed that occurrence. There's a lot of people that are on here that I went to school with, so I'm really thankful that in my hometown, at least I'm known for not being a liar. Even those people on this app are really mean, My name means something locally just because, I've done a lot.
So to kind of like try to tie it in together, you mentioned your grandmother had worked as a remote viewer for the
Yes.
CIA. Can you explain for the folks who may not be as familiar, what remote viewing is and what these projects that your grandmother worked on, what they
So when it
entailed of?
started out, they started out really small. There was a lot of controversy at the time here in Fort Bragg with this project. They were kind of viewed as like idiots. But they originally started with like the Soviets trying to pinpoint targets. I know that there was a kidnapping. They were able to locate it. They had a lot of success rates. If you go to my page, I post a lot of their experiments and
So what?
what.
So what do you mean by pinpoint a target exactly?
So with their mind, they would give them like a series of numbers or some type of code word to correlate with what they're supposed to locate or target with their third eye or, however you want to word that. And they would pinpoint the location. And most of the time, they would do these tests and they would already know ahead of time. But then there was instances when the military actually needed help and they would call, and request for them to do that. There was actually quite a few success stories, which I found was, like kind of crazy. But
Can
my
you tell?
grandma's not even
Go-
the big guy. Her husband, my grandpa, he was a part of Operation Jedi Warrior in the 70s, which was a psychic super soldier program. They made a movie about it called The Men Who Stare at Goats. My grandpa's name is Sanders Eugene Maggard, and he moved to Mexico because what they don't tell you is like every single man that was a part of that project went AWOL or had an accident.
Why would that be?
Just because they went against the military. What they were studying, they were altering DNA to enhance psychic abilities. They made a movie about it with George Clooney. and I was talking about here at Fort Bragg. But like they had success rates. They were able to kill a goat with their mind.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry,
freaking
unallowed.
wild. No,
Unallowed. My bad.
that's no, you're fine. I'm just I'm
I
trying to
didn't catch
formulate
it.
questions that are good to like tie everything together where I'm trying to have a
Okay. Well,
consistent
I have a
story.
theory because like at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, that is where I dealt with being strapped down to a chair and having these pills shoved down my throat. And then I would either wake up in my mother's car or in my bed at home, and I would not know what happened. There's time gaps that I don't remember. Now I have journals, but back then I couldn't really spell. So some of the stuff I can make out, some of the other stuff I couldn't. I just know that they were testing and drugging children at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And I found documents about that. But the years that I found it for was from 1984, and I'm specifically looking for the years 1991 through 1999.
And I'm sorry, can you say the name of that Air Force or that Air Base one more time?
Right, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
Right,
Now I have a
Patterson.
photo. I'm gonna type in my Reddit account name. I'm not allowed to post this photo on this app because they take it down. But in this photo, I'm 5 years old, and above me to the left is a SEVERED blank CHILD blank HEAD. Below that is a spirit, and then to the other side of me is another spirit. But this is my Reddit account if anyone wants to look it up. I'm not able to share. I've tried to post it on this app. I've tried putting it in the middle of other photos, because it's not, I never noticed it. I had always noticed the spirits, and I had posted it on Reddit, and they were like, "What is that?" And I was like, "I don't know." It was kind of creepy.
Absolutely. I do just want to address some of the, regulars who come in here when I normally do the True Earth debates on this platform. Just to let you guys know, that's not what we're doing tonight. This is the Tribune show. We're doing a special interview with our guest, Angela Maggard. And then we may do something like that a little bit later on. But I do appreciate you being here nonetheless. So, again, we were talking about your grandmother's involvement, your grandfather's involvement with Project Looking Glass, Project Stargate. Obviously, these projects aren't all tackling the exact same thing. Can you give us a little bit more detail on what these different projects were and how
Well,
maybe
I
what they
know that
evolved
there's
into?
more. I know there's more, and I don't want to get in trouble because I don't like my grandma. I don't like her at all. I called her and I asked her, and she apparently said that there's more. I'll text you or I'll message you her phone number if you wanna, if you can get her to talk. I legitimately just want answers. That's it.
Oh,
And
dang.
I just keep getting a bunch of closed doors, like a lot of it. You have to think like these people committed fraud. When my father was he was unalived Father's Day 2007. My mother was unalived on my birthday in 2018, which was March 15th. She was electrocuted from the inside out at UNC Chapel Hill, where they said her defibrillator came unattached. I was refused an autopsy because I had to prove that I'm her daughter. So I, instead of cremating her like she wanted, I had to bury her. And I specifically live in this town because this is where she's from, and I look just like her, and I want them to have to look me in the face and, you know, feel that guilt because they all said that I never existed, that she faked her pregnancy, that she faked this kidnapping, that I just wasn't real. And I was kind of mean to her when I found her because I didn't believe her. I believed my dad. I thought I was adopted, and she just didn't do her job and, lost her kid. And I was really rough on her, and she never corrected me. She ate that, and I appreciate that because she gave me a few years of normality, and I know that that was rough for her.
Absolutely. And I
And
imagine
her
it
name
can
is
be
Kelly
pretty.
Williford. Her name is Kelly Williford. If anybody out there, because I know there's a lot of people. North Carolina's kind of small.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just trying to, and I understand where you're coming from in that this is a very difficult topic. It can be, hard to discuss some of the things and, around this,
Especially
but
with PTSD, I don't mean to, but I get like stuck in a loop, and it's
right.
very
So
hard to like.
why don't we talk some about your paranormal experiences that you had growing up, and do you
I,
still have them?
I do. Not as much, just because I've met some very amazing people that have given me advice, but I always associated everything as negative. Everything scared me. I, I didn't understand it. I don't really know everything. I just know that I had a very bad history of sleepwalking and sleeping with my eyes open, and I slept talk as a baby. Used to scare the crap out of my adopted mother. But that is how I found my sealed file. That is how I know she has it. That's how I know where it's at. Is because I slept walk one night, and I guess in my like dream or whatever, I opened up all the doors, all turned on all the lights, opened up all the cabinets. My adopted mom woke up like freaking out. Everything's open. She goes and looks in my room. I'm asleep in the bed. She's like, "What the heck?" So she shuts everything, goes and looks. Nothing's there, goes back to sleep. She said like a couple hours later, she wakes up, all the lights were on again, all the doors were open, and this time I was in the closet looking, rummaging through the bottom. And she asked me what I was doing, and I guess I told her, I was like, I gotta find it. It's in here. And she's like, you need to go to bed. And I was having a conversation with her, and I just took my butt to bed. But that is where I found it. Like I think like a year later. I don't really remember the time. Like back then, it was. I don't think I woke up or was cognitive about the things that was around, happening around me till like 2021, if we're going to be honest. And I think emotionally, I'm a little bit younger than my peers. And I don't mean to say that in a negative way, but I'm smart. I'm book smart, calculated like that. But I think emotionally, it's taken a toll. And I didn't process it till later.
Well, I mean, if what you're saying is true, then you were a victim of some child abuse. So, and that's going to play an effect on obviously the way that you're able to process and handle anxiety.
Absolutely.
So,
but thankfully, I've had everything documented. The issue I'm having though is I had TRICARE my entire life, and I am being refused access to my own records, and that I don't see what that. I don't get it.
So what's the reason for them refusing your access?
None. Like I've had a couple of people on here that they look up people and they have resources to look up families. There's no information on me. If you Google my name, it says I'm related to people I don't even know. If you Google my adopted father or my adopted mother or my even stepmother or my biological mother, it says they're all related to each other, but I'm not there. And I posted a video where I showed everyone this. I don't understand. I used to be there. So you have to think like I found my birth mom, but I still want to know who my biological father is.
So do you not have like a social security number, a birth certificate?
I have two of each.
Okay, so my follow-up question would be, so there's record of your identity.
Yes, but the problem is there's no record where it's supposed to be. So there's a photocopy of it. Like, back in the day, you had everything on film. The actual file's not at Raleigh. It's supposed to be a sealed document. So only I'm supposed to have access to that. Nobody else is supposed to touch it unless a judge signs off on that.
So you don't actually have access to your identification?
Correct. But when I went there, they are supposed to give me access to it. I'd already requested it. They did not have it. And I would have to sue them in order to...
So I guess back to the question that I asked before is like currently, like on your person, do you have the ability to even identify yourself, like a driver's license?
Oh yeah, I have a driver's license. I work. Yeah, I pay taxes.
Okay, so do you have access to your birth certificate?
I do with my adopted one. I cannot access my original.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm unfamiliar with the difference.
It's okay. I don't know everything either. So if anyone has any advice on how I can like go about it, I'd appreciate it because I'm overwhelmed. So if we're going to be honest.
Well, I didn't know that there was a different birth certificate for people who were adopted. I thought that a birth certificate's assigned when the child's born and signed off by the mother. I don't think they sign another or create another birth certificate.
Mine has my adopted parents on there.
Okay, so your birth certificate has, okay, so on the public record, they're not your adopted parents, they're just your parents.
Yes, Master Sergeant Stiegenberger and Kathleen Griffith. And Kathy is still alive in Ohio. They own a chain of restaurants called Lee's Famous Recipe. So I would appreciate it if none of y'all would eat there because I don't think that child abusers should get money.
Well, how did you find out that you were actually adopted, like definitively?
My dad, he always told me. And I don't know if I had asked him questions or whatever. I just remember being conscious of it. You know what I mean? I remember it not being a big deal. I just knew. I don't think it really hit me. It was different until I started realizing that my mom and I didn't have the bond like other people did. Like, it was just very cruel. Like, she put a butcher knife to my chest and she was like, I could kill you right now and nobody would know. And I was like, well, your fingerprints are on there. And I was a smart mouth. I never cussed her, but I was a back talker. And I told her, I was like, well, their fingerprints are on there. So she wiped it off and she held it with her sleeve. And I was like, well, I'll write your name in blood. And she's like, I'll clean it up. And I was like, they have a light for that. And that's when she stabbed me. And I still have a scar. She didn't completely impale me, but she did draw blood. And it was enough to scare me. I I was 11 years old. And the thing about it is I went back. I went back because she lost custody of me after that. She lost complete rights. But after my father died in 2007, I was pregnant with my second son. I was losing it. And I know what trauma bonding is now, but back then I didn't understand. So I had gone back there to visit her. I got the okay from my doctor to travel because my baby was showing up smaller than he actually was, probably because of the trauma of my father passing. So I was actually further along than I knew. But I ended up having my son there in Ohio, and that was torture. I had an emergency C-section, and I had to stay there with her. She locked me in the house. She had taken the phone cords and the internet cords completely so that I couldn't contact my children's father and let them know, what was going on. I remember though that my dad had a cord phone in the closet, and my dad always told me if the power is out, whatever, you can plug that in. You can still call 911. It'll work. So I called 911 and asked them to connect me to social services, and social services was able to come and get me and my children out of the house and put us in a hotel room so that I could get on a plane the next day and leave. And I was terrified to call social services. I'm not going to lie, but I didn't want my kids to have to go through what she had done to me. And I had believed that I had believed her. And I own that. That was me, but I really had hoped.
I do want to address real quick just some of the comments being made because
Of
I
course, I
do
couldn't
know
read them.
that sometimes it can be hard to believe stuff like this can happen on any kind of scale. But I mean, this kind of stuff, even if you don't want to assign any kind of conspiracy to it,
Well, there
it
was
does.
other victims, my stepsisters. There's other girls, Allison and Samantha Walker. They're married now, but they're also from Ohio. They got it really bad. I had to tell their father what was happening, and he was able to get them away.
Just a real quick, no, Caleb, this is not a FE debate tonight. So sorry for getting your hopes up, buddy.
If you like to debate, though, like I know some stuff. There's the Rockefeller estate on Fort Bragg property nobody really knows about called Overhills. I suggest looking into that. It's pretty interesting. We used to go party there.
Absolutely. How do you go and party on a Rockefeller estate?
Actually, that stoplight's there because of me. I crashed into the fence. That's why the pole on the left side's bigger than the right.
Did you
But
pull a Alex Jones?
I didn't mean to. We were a little drunk. This is better than me before I had kids. But no, it's on Highway 87 and Nursery Road. If you go straight down that dirt road and turn right on the second dirt road, it takes you up to where the horse stables is in the first house. It's like 200 acres, lacrosse field, tunnels. It's huge.
True. Well, I guess I could see that if you're getting away with that. It's not going
It's
to be able to
training grounds
monitor it all.
now. They just go out there and use it, to practice now.
Gotcha. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. What other bombshells can you share with us? Some absolutely crazy stuff.
You
that
want something that's going to
most
make everyone get all mad or she's lying? Because I got a good one. Everyone
may,
hates this one.
just something that's like
And I have
maybe
the
not
emails to prove it.
necessarily maybe not
Well,
necessarily like Maury
a
status,
lot
but
of people
like
don't believe in giants. And my dad was part of a recon mission in 2002 where he fought one, and one of his soldiers. There was 3 Green Berets and 4 Delta Force, and one of the Green Berets by the name of John. I don't want to say his last name because I still talk to his wife and she'll get mad. But he was speared to death. He died. He was unalived. And they opened fire and they took him down, and then they carried him off by Chinook. But he said he fought a giant, and that wasn't the first one. Apparently, there was another one in Zimbabwe in 91.
are you talking about the first one you were talking about? That's the one in I
It
think
was
it was.
Afghanistan in 2002, because 2003 is when they helped save Jessica Lynch. So I know it was the year before. I go
Jeez,
by email.
pretty decorated doing the giant slaughtering, and there's got to be a title for that, right?
There
The
is, though,
giant
because we were
slayer.
talking about Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Look, one little town over called Enon, Ohio. Look at the mound of Enon. And this is public information. You can just Google it. They found a freaking giant horned skeleton that's 13 feet tall.
That's Enon,
The
Ohio.
mound, the mound of Enon, where that picture was, where I tagged my Reddit account, where that photo is, where that HEAD was, and the spirits was taken there by my grandmother, Ann Jutman, who I did not know worked for the 3-letter C word until 3 years ago. So this woman, these people told me this stuff didn't exist, and the entire time you're getting a paycheck for this. When I say I cussed her out, that's why I'm saying I'll message you her phone number if you can get her to talk. I don't. I just want justice. So if you can get anyone to get her to listen, I posted all the non-disclosure agreements for the Stargate project. That's my first pin post. My grandma's name is the third page. I tried to find their social medias, but a couple of them are deceased. They're getting
So
old now.
this the Stargate project, that's the project where they are teaching the
That's the
CIA
third one.
people.
It went Grill
That's
Flame, Stargate, Starflame. And there's another one in between there. I can't remember the name.
so what was like the progression, right? So I know one they started off just doing remote viewing, and
It went all the way to, and I've posted this. If you go look at my page, I've actually posted the studies and the stuff where they've admitted to testing on children and blind people because apparently people that are blind have the extra sensory perception, and they've admitted that everybody has this, but that it's more so genetic. So certain people, I guess, are predispositioned to have more of it. And from what I've read, a lot of it has to do with your blood type, which I didn't know really about that until this app. I
gotcha.
didn't know that was a thing.
What does the blood type have to do with it?
Apparently that's they carry a higher chance of these abilities. RH negative. I don't know a lot about it. I haven't dug into it that much, but I've been on a lot of these lives where they're like spitting it out. I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. I've read some of this stuff.
So to answer Litpabs, the CIA stopped Stargate because it provided no useful information. This is public info. Read it.
Well,
Um,
Stargate turned into Starflame, so you have to go to the next project. And if you go down my page, I've posted it from CIA. I get all my information from CIA.gov. Scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, click the Freedom of Information Act, and a search bar is going to pop up. I started typing in my family's name and went from there, but you could do your own research. You'll come up with a lot of information.
so with Project Starflame, why would they? And just to play from like the devil's advocate, right? Why would they release this information in the first place? Why would they release it?
Now, there's
And
letters that I've posted where they didn't want to release this. A lot of people didn't want it released. And it was kind of one of those things where, oh, it's aging out. It's already changed to a new project. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Like there's emails and messages that have been declassified about how officials didn't want this stuff coming out.
gotcha. So what was the
And this
was
is
the
like a
push?
joint military project.
What was the push?
For
Got
they
this
they
stuff
wanted
released.
to alter. I honestly do not know the answer to that, but I can look up and see. I don't want to give any false information. I don't like lying. So, but I can and try and dig out more. But there's a few different names that have popped up a few different times. It seems to be like I know when George Bush was director of the CIA, that's really that's when things changed to Stargate. That's when they started trying to move things with their minds, telekinesis. They really tried experimenting what the human is capable of doing. And there was a lot of failed projects with that. I don't want to sit there and act like all of them were success rates because they weren't. And I feel like that's counterproductive to telling the story. There were people that were hurt, injured. They admitted to sleep deprivation. They did a lot of sadistic things to try and bring people to these states. And then they documented it while they were doing it, which I found in the name of science that just it sits wrong with me. And they openly admitted to wanting to get children because they don't have to unlearn things. They're easier to be programmed. And I just posted that one yesterday. So that one's like at the top of my page. But they openly admitted to wanting to further that more. And they were working openly with Russia and China in the beginning of all these studies.
All
The
right.
documents that I found, they were competing, they were sharing information. But they also admitted that Russia was playing us, that they had a few people that had infiltrated and was giving off information, but Russia wasn't giving us, anything back. They were kind of like gaslighting. So they were like, well, I don't know how they're getting all this information, but they're keeping up.
Guys working together, but like not really.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I'm trying not to read the comments because I don't want to go like, there's a lot of mean people on this app.
Oh, don't
and
even
I
worry
totally
about. I
get
would
it.
pay no mind to them, right? If they don't add something productive, then what's the point? But
My main thing
yeah,
is I'm literally just trying to bring awareness to this because how many other kids have gone through this? I'm 36. I'm okay. I have 5 sons. I'm a manager of an auto parts store. I make good money. I'm pretty content. But I can't just act like it didn't happen. And people are like, you need to get over it. You need to move on. I'm okay. I am okay, but I just cannot turn my cheek and pretend that this stuff isn't real. I can't, especially not when I know these names. You know what I mean? Like, no, it was not about space travel. Now they do have a Stargate, but that was different. We stole one of those in '91 in Africa, and then we stole another one in 2002 when we invaded Iraq to go find Gilgamesh. We did not go there for what we were told, and that's also been released as declassified. If you look that up, it tells you why they went there in 2002.
That's pretty wild. I know I haven't looked directly at all the declassified information, I will admit,
Oh my
so I'm
God,
not
the
gonna.
Adam and Eve story is crazy. That one's like, what? That one kind of like had me tripping for a few days. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, that they're
Every
basically.
70 every 77,000 years, a cataclysm happens, and how Eve was Adam's daughter, and they were, her mom died in childbirth, and they were survivors of the last cataclysm. They talk about on the Wall and Admiral Byrd. It's a good story.
Man, I wonder how the hell they found out all that.
From text, there's maps, and then there's a lot of stuff they've been sitting on, and a lot of it is labeled under art.
Oh, I mean, could be, right? It's artists just depicting something that could be true.
Especially when you look at these maps and you line them up, and a lot of these people, different time periods, different cultures, no way to meet up. It kind of makes you think and scratch your head like, oh, this is interesting. Like, especially when the coastlines, they're not exact, but I mean, they're pretty darn close.
Gotcha. Yeah, I definitely would like to take a
My
look. I wish
Wi-Fi
that.
might go bad. It's about to storm really, really bad here.
Oh, you're
I just
fine.
don't
I'm
know.
not sure how much more we can go on with
Not
this,
really.
but
Yeah, I'd rather you get someone else up here. I appreciate you talking to me
oh no, you're
and
absolutely
talking about
fine.
it.
I did want to talk more about the actual projects. 'Cause I think that they're so neat, and the things that they were attempting to do, the things that they, believe in, and what it means for the mainstream physics that you and I are taught in
There's a
public
lot,
school.
and I'm not like physicist or any of that. It's a lot of parapsychology. That's what they label it under. But I can tag you in there. I've posted a lot. I've been posting about this for 3 years now because I never thought I was going to get justice. If we're going to be honest, I've always just thought that I was going to have to suck it up and walk it off because that's what I had to do. I was a mom, until 3 years ago. I'm not going to lie. It took me 2 years after my mom passing for me to process things and get back. COVID kind of kicked me in the butt. Everything getting shut down, but I found this app and everyone was talking about things, and I slowly, met other people because there's other kids in my county that I'm from that was taken as well. Harnett County, North Carolina is very corrupt, and I'm not the only child that this has happened to. I just want to set that in. There's other people talking about this on this app about that. Actually, they have way more followers than me.
So if someone wanted to do something about this in a obviously in a legal, nonviolent way, what do
That's what
you
I'm trying to do.
what do you recommend? What would be the best course of action for someone to take?
Finding an attorney that is not scared to sue the state. State of North Carolina is my first step because that's an open and shut case. Sealed adoption file, no one else is supposed to have eyes on that. So I can easily sue the state of North Carolina for that.
Well, that's great advice for the people who were actual victims of this. What about people who want to support victims?
Now there are a bunch of groups. I found some groups on here of people. A lot of them are in Canada. I haven't found a lot of them in America yet, but I think that would be great to do. I don't know how I could help anyone, but I don't know if there's any around. But I would love to at least send someone's way. I don't
Yeah,
really
if you
know.
could. Yeah, if you could have dropped a name for one of the groups, that would have been fantastic.
I can't go on there without my men alive. It's all in my messages.
Alrighty. Well,
Oh, what
Angela,
would you put yourself in danger telling you that? I'm not really risk. I don't fear death, and I'm not trying to be mean, but I have contingency plans. I wrote a book, and my mother wrote a story, and she had the 23andMe DNA test done the Christmas before she passed. So I have a few contingency plans in place just in case.
they and plus to also answer that question, um, they actually admit that they're not going to off everybody, right? Because they do admit
Yeah,
that some of them are just going to look
I'm
crazy.
not
That's
trying to be
why.
mean. I look crazy. I mean, to people that
That's
don't know me.
this
So
is
I mean,
what you guys are looking at is unfortunately what trauma causes, from one reason or another. One thing that definitely seems is that you were definitely a victim of trauma. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and nobody can, and definitely, people who try to make fun of that are not very cool in
I
my
just, the
book.
way
I'll
I
just say
view
that.
it is hurt people, healing people heal. We all are going to experience things like that throughout our life. And I'm glad that they have not had to experience that. And as difficult as it is for them to fathom, it kind of makes me feel a little bit better that, that's one less person, not everybody should have to understand that. You know what I mean? I don't want that. I would just like for people to be nicer because people are mean and they attack and they bully. I've been told to unalive myself. And for one, I'm just going to let everyone know I'm petty. I am alive because I'm a mom and I will never, ever pass that pain down to my children. So I made a deal with God or Allah or whoever was up there. I don't think he's going to care what I call them. That I will take it all so that my children don't have to. Unapologetically, I asked for it. You know what I mean? I've made that deal with myself since age 7. So
Absolutely. And, it's a hope that everybody can live with that kind of courage, that regardless of
there's,
what
there's
will
good
affect
days and
you, that
bad
you'll
days.
continue
You
to do what
feel
you
it.
believe is right.
You can't run from it. You got to face it. You don't fake it till you make it. You face it. It's okay to backstep. It's okay to cry about it. You just got to get back up. You can't stay down.
Angela,
You lose your mind, you lose the war.
if you would for just one moment, sit tight. I want to see if any of my guests over from the YouTube and Rockfin side
Oh,
have any
absolutely.
questions
I'm not
for
in any
you.
rush or anything.
So just give me one moment. I'm going to start over. You guys are going to get to see me check my thing here. They want you to think, on the YouTube side, they're very sympathetic. They want you to think that you're crazy when you're actually not, and it is appreciated that you have been sharing your story.
Thank you. It used to bother
Absolutely.
me. That's one word that I used to really get triggered by because I've heard that my entire life. I mean, you have to think I started running away at the age of 5. Like, there's a huge paper trail, and I didn't know that every time you called the cops, they documented that. So if there was a way for me to get like a printout of all that, I would like that because I think that that would help my case too. Just because I've called a lot. I told schools. I mean, I told everyone. They ignored it.
Oh wow. Well, Angela, if it's okay with you, what I'd like to do is I'm going to take we're going to do a short break for the folks
Absolutely.
over everywhere, and also give my TikTok a little bit of a break here. But my folks on the YouTube side have been saying that they actually wanted to have a conversation as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up the lines over there. So folks over
Okay.
here on the TikTok side, if you're liking the conversation, if you're digging it, then go head over to the YouTube and the Rockfin. You can find the link in the description. troublingtribune.com. You can find all the videos there. So go and check it out. We're going to be posting a link there, and we're going to have an open panel so people will be able to join up and talk to our guests here. So I appreciate you all coming on. And we will be back to the show here in just a moment. Folks on YouTube and Rockfin, don't go anywhere. Folks on TikTok, until next time. Angela, did you manage to find my page all right?
Yes.
Okay, over on the YouTube.
Yeah. Do I have to make an account though to talk? Because
No,
let me
no,
go
no.
do that. Okay.
I'm gonna send you a Google Meet link. You can click it. It'll work in browser.
Oh, perfect. Okay, that works.
Alrighty. All right, folks. Don't go anywhere. I'm gonna play a song for you, and we are gonna go ahead and get this kicked off for round 2. So don't go anywhere. Let's go ahead and do the. Let you look at that astronaut there
Now,
for a
could I
minute.
screen share on that? Because then I could just go over to my Facebook and like show you, like, because I have photos
Yeah,
of my dad.
absolutely. And that's another big reason why I wanted to have you come on
Because
over,
I
because
don't
I feel like
delete
you'd have more
messages.
ability to.
I have everything saved. So my Facebook account I've had since 2008, and my uncle has admitted to a lot more. It's there's
Oh
more than
wow.
one story. There's not. Yeah, I was just trying to give you like the easy one,
Oh
the
wow.
easy
Looks
one.
like I've been clipping a little bit, guys. Sorry about that. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. I will see
Okay.
y'all in just a bit. If you join us over, go and check it out. Angela, thanks again for joining us, and I will see you over on the YouTube side.
All right. Thank you. See you in a bit.
Peace.
Bye.
Oh, Got got a a
Right.
message
folks,
right
let's
at the
go ahead
same
and get
time.
you
Not letting me
sound
do it.
loaded up here, and we will get things rocking and rolling once again for round 2. It's going to be absolutely awesome. What do we want to listen to? Let's go ahead and do.
we're going to listen to some conspiracy music guru. We have to go ahead and close out of the True Solfeggio album. Sorry about that ad that you had to listen to. But we are going to go ahead and listen to Golden Crown.
You can transform
and YouTube, please do not copyright strike me for this, because I do have permission to use it. So, folks, don't go anywhere. We will be right back. music guru. For the win, as always. Beautiful song. Alrighty. Thus concludes the Golden Crown. Absolutely lovely. Let's go ahead and close out of the TikTok too. Left that up. All right. Appreciate you all staying tuned in here. We are going to get things rocking and rolling here in just a minute. I'm waiting for Shane to let me in the Zoom room so that I can share that link with you all. And I'm going to give him like a few more minutes here. And if he doesn't come on, then I'm just going to start my own on Google. And it is what it is. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get everybody a shout out, right? You guys have been the real ones, sticking with it, supporting it. It's been a fantastic conversation. Andrew B., I do expect you to be joining. We are going to be taking calls. FE Nation, Big Pine Sailing, Robotic Double 3K, RG, and Warnings Sky Dome. Legends, every one of you. Supporting over on Rockfin, folks, that is one of the best ways to support the show, is going to be going down to the rockfin.com, link in the description. And you can watch this full stream. It is free for now, but we will be probably taking it off of YouTube here after the show due to the nature of the conversation. And from that point, you will only be able to catch it on Rockfin. So be sure to click the link. You can create a free account, or you can support not only myself, but countless other content creators like Jaronism, Karen B, Melodome, FMX, THC, and so many more. In order to know, you're going to have to go. So don't waste any more time. Click the link and pick the show right back up. We do appreciate you. Folks over on YouTube, let's shout you out. Lord Racer, MC Hip Chase. What is up? Austin Murphy, Mojo Shop, Shifty Eyes, Shady, One Neo, Shelly Aller, Aaron Eddy, Jeremy Bird, what is up? All right, Setneg, Doug Maurer. This is going to be awesome. We're going to find out what she knows about astral projection here very soon when we have her on. So it's going to be absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Let's go ahead and get back over here. Shane, where are you at, buddy? Let me in to the Zoom. Probably not going to happen. All right. No worries. Let me just close that then. And we'll just do it on Google Meet. No worries. No worries at all, folks. This is what you come to expect. The other best way that I can plug and waste some time. Be sure to check out the merch store that we have just launched. The designs are pretty fire, if I say so myself. Google Meet. And you can get all kinds of... Oh, that's not it. That was going to get me hacked. Don't put .com after Google Meet. Okay. New meeting. Let's do it. Let's get it going. Perfect. All right. You guys are waiting eagerly. So let's go ahead and get this link posted. And hopefully Angela will be joining us very shortly so we can keep this conversation going. It's posted for the Rockfin. And please do not be shy. Gonna be a banger. Let's go ahead and do this then. Boom. Here we are. Feel free to call on in. How do I control that mirroring? That is ridiculous. Whatever. Gonna have to deal with it, guys. Put a mirror to it, and we'll be absolutely fine. So, all right. Now we eagerly await for your calls. Lots of questions for our guest. Definitely a trauma victim. It seems, you can tell in the mannerisms, the manicness of it. It's definitely got some telltale signs. So I definitely feel for it. And the important thing to understand is that there are, like she said, there are others out there. Man, this thing is really bothering me here in the back. Ugh. Let me get rid of this. Hold on. We're doing it live. Perfect. That looks much better. Okay. Gonna use my phone to check your chats. Let me know if there's anything going wrong. I'm gonna assume that the link must be broken if you guys are not just jumping on in here. Angela should have definitely already been in here, so let's go ahead and make sure everything is cool, underway. Okay. Yeah, you should be able to click that. Let's get it. And maybe I should send the link directly to her. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and do this then. I guess I'll just read some interesting comments since you guys only want to talk to me through that. It's totally fine, no hard feelings, I guess. But really looking forward to having the full conversation and seeing the visuals. Jeez, I'm sweating under these lights. My God. That's what happens when you drink hot tea and sit under sit under a lamp. But what are you gonna do? Haven't had a commercial interrupt the live stream yet. That's good. Yeah, I'm not monetized, so you guys won't get those types of commercials. You only get mine, luckily. So enjoy. I think my ads are pretty good. Short, sweet, to the point. What is up? Kolikin Terraplana. Welcome, welcome. Man, where the heck did Angela go? 1 second, guys. Let me get this sent over to our guest here. I don't want to join it again as myself. I just want to click and copy the link. Oh, so difficult. All right. Well, what are you going to do? Here's what I'm going to do. Not that. Can't do that. All right. Well, this is a little awkward. Folks might have had the chance to catch me over on the Melodome for the morning rise. That was an absolutely fire conversation. You guys should definitely check that out. Talking about the nature of this realm, possibly what happens after we die, right? What happens after we pass from this realm? Some of the things that we do hope to have answered with some of these projects that are declassified, like Project Stargate, Project Looking Glass. Lots of really cool stuff that we can get into here. So, hot green tea, yummy, absolutely. That's what you got to do. Constant detoxing, right? Especially on a day like today. This is Beltane Eve, so it's going to be a nice time to go ahead and push out some of those negative energies, because they're definitely going to be coming around to try to mess with you like they are with this show right now. I'm really surprised not one person has clicked the link. Really disheartening. But at this point, it's like a game. It's like, how long can we make him go? Want to hear more of her story. It was getting really good. It was. It was. I'd love to get her on, and I don't know what's taking her. So, what can you do? Melodome, what is up, my friend? Click the link. Jump on in. Let's have, we're having a great conversation. Just got off work. Nice. Nicely done. Putting in the full grind. Rise and grind over at the Melodome. We are just waiting for our guest, Angela, to go ahead and join up. Not sure what her holdup is, but I'm going to go ahead and send her a message right now. Be like, hey, we're waiting for you. Hey, we're waiting. Thank you for that. had my tech turn on a fan since I'm going to be drowning here in just a minute, worse than the astronauts on a spacewalk. Man, oh man. Well, she did say that her internet might go out. Also, I just realized that. I just remembered that. Holy shoot. What if her internet is out? No, it says she's active. I'm going to hold on to hope, guys. I'm going to cross my fingers. And we're going to pray that we get our guest back here in just a moment. In the meantime, I mean, shoot. I'm not FMX radio. I'm not going to play a whole bunch of music for you and just talk about some BS. Shoot the shit, as they say. Talk about the last debate. It's absolutely hilarious, crazy, sad. I think that the title of the show was very fitting: the good, the bad, and the Globy, because there was the good, um, mostly myself and Mellowdome. The bad, a lot of people that night, and the Globy. Obviously, we know who that one was. So let me send her another little message here. See if we can get our guest back on. It'd be a real bummer if we can't get her back on, because that conversation can be pretty good. I'd definitely like to get the documentation, verification, try to back up some of the stuff that she was talking about, because it definitely seemed like some of the stuff was out there. But I'm no stranger to crazy, wild stuff happening. Especially like people think like, oh, there's no way a mother would do that to their own child. It's like you have no idea the crazy, horrific stories there are out there of abuse and what leads to it. So you just really don't know. In fact, there was actually an incident right here in my hometown. I'll go ahead and shout this out, I suppose. Go ahead and put the red flag on it. There was a incident over in a neighborhood over in my town on the north side of Lakeland where there was a child, couldn't have been more than 2 years old, just walking up the street, completely by himself, alone. Come to find out that this isn't the first time that the child's been just off wandering the neighborhood. So child gets returned, DCF got called, and or I should say the police got called, which then resulted in DCF getting called. And lo and behold, the child belonged to some foster parents, and the DCF didn't want to go anywhere near it, even though there was like prior incidents, even an incident where they left the child in the car. It's absolutely horrific. Um, so anyway, it doesn't surprise me that there's like corruption and like really horrific stuff going on that people don't really put a spotlight to very often, because hell, it is uncomfortable and very dark. But it is important that we do know that these things exist, and more importantly, if we can find a way to get towards a call to action. What is it that we can actually do to help victims of this? To more prove out their story. Let's stay in the call. More prove out their story and help them get the justice that they deserve, while simultaneously learning about the truth of our realm and the hidden physics of the fact that we have the ability to leave our bodies by simply thinking about it a certain way. Really profound if you think about it, really crazy. Nothing short of a superpower. And yet there are millions of people who have reported, been being able to do that. So yeah, it's just absolutely wild. And with projects like Project Stargate, obviously that's where they're doing a whole bunch of the remote viewing. They're traveling to different bases and trying to pull out, all the kinds of information that they can get into Project. We need the spotlight to make the change. It's absolutely right. Mama needs the dab. Absolutely right. Then we also have Project Stargate and, sorry, Project Looking Glass, where they remote view apparently all the way to the future, to the end of the future, wherever that may be, or to some point where there is some event that happens, is very vague, that, you know, basically is really, really bad. And for them, anyway, the so called elite. And they don't want that. So they do everything they can to try to prevent it. But it seems that every time they make a change and go back and look, nothing would give them the answer that they wanted. So they just, shut it down because it wasn't helpful. That event, of course, I believe is the awakening of humanity to the real physics that has been hidden from us, and thus the rest of reality, right? Something that's kept, under lock and key less and less each day. The veil is being lifted. So, commercial sound, there are so many great parents waiting in lines for adoption. It is true. It is true. I do think there are some great parents. Angela, I think, maybe thinks that we're going back on TikTok, and we're not. On YouTube. Oh, man. She needs me to send the link in here. Okay, I got to figure this out. Give me one whole second, guys. I'm going to do this. This is going to be easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Just got to send this to myself. You know what? I'll send it to Shane. Boom. And you guys know everything's super kosher. Don't even hide my messages from y'all. It's all good. Angela, you made it. I'm going to post the link for you one more time. And now you can go ahead and join. And all of our other guests will hopefully join as well, because they have been waiting for you. So, awesome. Appreciate having you. Hope your internet didn't give you too many problems. Hey, Angela, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thank you. Sorry, kids. I had to get them to bed.
Oh,
School night.
Totally fine. I completely understand. We were just shooting the shit over here in the background, and I was, troubling, trying to stall for time. So, really funny
I
stuff.
appreciate it. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's totally fine. Not the first time that we've been in that situation, but I do like that we're on this platform now. You're actually going to be able to, screen share, show things that you have, documentation. A lot of my guests want to know that stuff, want to see that. And, one of my guests actually had a question about astral projection as well. So there's lots of stuff that we can talk
Anything
about.
I can answer, I don't mind. If I don't, I can point you towards the right direction. I don't want to give any false information.
Absolutely.
I'm still trying to learn myself.
And just so you know, you don't have to worry about the censorship anymore. YouTube, we're not going to keep it on YouTube anyway, because we've already crossed that line.
Okay.
So
That's better then.
Right. So you can just say whatever, and it is still going to be found on Rockfin, guys. So be sure to click over on the link for the stream in the description.
Do you know if it's illegal to give someone the phone number? Can I show you that?
So that might be considered doxing.
Okay, I don't want to get sued, so that's why I'm trying to be
that might be considered doxing. If you are gonna give any phone numbers, it should be in private. But also, we have to be very careful about that as well, because you don't want to get in trouble for harassment or anything like that. So, it's
yeah,
if a whole bunch of
it's
people,
she's still alive. She lives in Georgia.
Yeah, if
her name's not changed.
If a whole bunch of people just started blowing her up and stuff, then she could easily get you for harassment for spreading her number around.
Well, wouldn't she have to prove I'm lying? So couldn't I counter sue? Wouldn't that be an easy way to provoke?
No,
or is that wrong?
No. So here's the thing: she could have done everything that you said can be 100% accurate, and what you want to do is still illegal.
Damn it!
Right. So
that's
you still
so messed up.
Yeah, you can't dox somebody.
I'm sitting here thinking I can provoke a reaction.
Yeah, that's just the Beltane spirit, by the way. That's we're at a really major pagan holiday for so a lot of Christians scream at.
My birth mother was pagan. I don't know a lot about it, but apparently this is genetic. My mother and my birth grandma is still alive. She lives down the road. So there's still people alive that know the whole story. A lot of the people that I went to school with. You have to think we all grew up on 9/11. They all witnessed all this stuff. They seen me go through all this stuff, find it out. Because I've publicly talked about this on Facebook forever. It's like a decade worth of screenshots. I have a huge digital footprint.
Yeah,
You know.
Mama needs a dab says don't give numbers or personal addresses. So
Thank you. I don't want to get
yeah,
in
let's
big
not.
trouble.
And you have to think too, Angela, with everything that you've been through, they're going to want a reason to target you legally,
And I'm not
lawfully.
trying to be mean, but I don't do anything. Good luck.
Right. So
I'm a
if
mom.
right, so if you made a misstep now, then my God, I'd hate to see what would happen from that. So we're gonna play
I
it
was
extra
raised by
careful
a
on that.
Green Beret, so I'm a little bit lucky that he kind of like drilled it in my head from the get go, thanks to avoid, I hate to call myself boring, but I really am. I read. I play Candy Crush and Call of Duty.
Candy Crush and Call of Duty. That's awesome.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm surprised you find time raising kids. It can. I find it very, very
I'm the
challenging.
teenage phase. It's not like it was. You have to think like I had my kids like 2 years apart each. So I went through a time where my kids glued their butts shut. That happened. That happened to me. That was traumatizing.
Oh my goodness, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Nail polish remover works wonders if you ever getting yourself in that sticky situation.
That's crazy. That's funny.
Fun fact.
That's a little, a little lighten it up to some
Oh,
of the dark
boys.
stuff
Boys
that
are
we've.
awesome. Best part of my life. They saved my life. My kids did. I'm
You're the
very thankful.
everybody who has kids says that. It's
And I never thought I'd be that way because I'm not gonna lie, I was scared to have my kids because my mom, she did all that scary, scary stuff to me. So I was really traumatized, like, becoming a mom. Like, how am I gonna do this? I read every book known to man, like you could think of.
oh wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of reading.
I like to read. I'm a dork.
There you go.
But
Well,
that's how I coped when I was younger. That was my way of like avoiding everything was books.
yeah, a lot of escapism that
Hmm.
people do to deal with.
It was a healthy way.
It is. It is. Especially to read literature is a great way to expand your mind and strengthen
And
it.
I feel like if you don't educate yourself on the history, you're kind of doomed to repeat it. And there's a lot of stuff that you've just told, and people automatically assume it to be true because you were told that. And if you read a little bit back further, things change. Keep
Yeah.
me on topic. My ADD.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. So you said that you had some documentation.
Oh, yes. Am I going to get in trouble for smoking on this one?
No,
TikTok will like.
no.
Okay.
It's not. No, we're not a platform for like preteens and stuff. This is marked not safe for kids.
Yeah, I never really went on lives. I'd go on there and talk, but I'd keep my camera off just because, like, people are mean. So, yeah, how do I go to the screen share? You got to walk me through this.
Okay, so at the bottom of your there should be a toolbar. It should say turn off camera, turn off microphone, turn off camera, turn off captions, send reaction, present now. And it's gonna have a box with an arrow
Oh,
in it.
share screen?
There you go.
Oh, crap. That means I'm going to give everybody my Facebook page.
Well,
Oh,
uh, you know, be careful about how you
go
do it.
up. It's okay. Well, no, I can just go to my TikTok because it's all on there. Oh, yeah, see, I'm at your page.
Nice, dude. Super popular over there on TikTok, by the way.
Oh, I saw a lot of my trolls were in there. I have to pause this. I don't know if you can I zoom? No, I'll just go to the real page. Hold on.
Oh, we got another guest as well, Andrew B. Welcome to the show, my friend. You're
Hey, good evening.
catching an awesome conversation.
Yeah, I'm going to let Angela go ahead and take it away for a moment, but I do have some questions and some comments for her. So,
Oh, please, yeah, absolutely. So this is about my dad. This is when a soldier passes away, different soldiers can come and write about you. But this was pretty much talking about how my, dad's personality was. Yeah, I don't want to know if you guys want me to read it or if you guys can read it. But it talks about how he had landed in the middle of a Taliban with Hornet's Nest. There were zero casualties. How he had like complete control over Africa, and they would have. That's down here in Swaziland. He was the first guy to lead an A team there. But embassy staff, total unfettered access to the embassy minus the corner room. He would have made a point of talking to everyone, and showing genuine concern for the people and family. They had 2 aircraft in the Air Force. Whenever we wanted, we could fly over wherever we wanted. If we wanted to, we could have taken over the country with its own army, installed ourselves as the government, and then been recognized by the U.S. mission there as a legitimate government of the people. He was amazing to watch when he was in his element. But
Oh,
that's just
geez.
something that talks
We're
about
just
my
gonna
father.
we're just gonna breeze by the casual ability to just completely undermine a nation's sovereignty.
Oh, I don't know. Wait. Am I doing something wrong?
No,
Am
no,
I not
no,
supposed to show
no. It was funny that because in the message they literally just said that it would have been nothing for them to just take over the government and it be seen as a legit U.S. mission. There's
I
talk.
don't want to talk up, but like I still respect my father, even though he's passed. I have a very rough time seeing him as complacent with this. I do think that he was manipulated to doing what he was told in order to see me, because he went years fighting in the court of law to just be able to see me. And what I found weird is that I told you how my father tried to go AWOL and take me out of the country in 91. Both of my grandfathers were here in North Carolina when that happened. And like I told you, my one grandfather, he went AWOL and he moved to Mexico. So that was really, really odd. Which I guess I'm just going to show you my Facebook because that's the only way I can get to those pictures. So whatever.
Well, you do what you gotta
Yo,
do, I suppose.
I don't care. Let me go to my photos and then go to albums. Sorry, I post a lot of selfies. So this is my dad. I think that's Kabul, Afghanistan. I don't know what year though. I got the photo in 2012 because these are all the photos I have of my father. I don't know what they were doing in this particular one. That's my dad. Oh, I'm trying to find yeah, that's me and him. I know this is around. Yeah, I'm not. Wait, can I get in trouble for pointing that out? He's the one who was unalived. I can't zoom in any further.
I don't think you can get in trouble for that.
Okay. He's also, that's my dad right here in the blue. He's the tall one on the right. But it's the third one on the right hand side, and that's back row. Third one to the left. That's the one. His name is John. In 2002. And this is around the time around Jessica Lynch, because this was like a second tour. And now we're getting to yeah, he'd have been bad. But that's my great grandfather. He was also special forces. I don't know if I have any on here of my grandpa. Yeah, I do. That is my grandfather, Sanders Maggard. He was the one who was a part of Operation Jedi Warrior. The one with the tan striped shirt. The one in the blue short and the bottom, that's my dad. I should have one of my uncle. I thought I had it on here. I guess I don't. My grandma does.
So Andrew, you said you had some questions and some comments?
Oh yeah, ask whatever.
Okay,
How do I get back to the screen? How do I get back to the screen? Y'all can tell I don't do this regularly.
It's it's right one more over. The other one. No, other way. There you go, right there. Nope.
That one?
Nope. There you go.
My bad.
Oh, wait.
How do I go back?
Wait, yeah, that's just say stop presenting. There you go.
Okay, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm old. Wait, now my video's gone.
Oh, you're fine. Just hit your camera.
I feel so old, y'all. My bad.
Your boomer is showing.
And I'm not. I'm a millennial.
Well, you're younger than me, so don't feel bad. No, I'm also a combat veteran from the Iraq War. Served 6 years, and I did 3 deployments to Iraq. Never went to Afghanistan, but I do have a buddy. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because you were mentioning that your dad was a Green Beret over in Afghanistan, and one of the people in his platoon or fire squad, fire team was killed by a giant.
Yes, speared to death.
So that's just word of mouth, is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Okay.
These are stories that I've heard from multiple people that are still alive. I do have can I show that? I don't know if I don't want to get in trouble. So I screen recorded this conversation. This was a couple weeks ago with my dad's battle buddy. He grew up across the street from me my whole life. I actually lived with him whenever my dad would deploy because of how hostile it was with my stepmother. but he was 7th Group Special Forces, and he is currently in Kenya right now. And he said that when I had talked to him, this was like 3 weeks ago, he said that there was an assassination 2 weeks prior to that, and that there was another one coming up that they weren't leaving till then. He showed me where he was staying at. Like, I screen recorded the conversation. I shouldn't have, but I'm not trying to be mean. I don't know if I fully trust him. And I know that sounds really, really bad because I've known this man my entire life, but there's just been some weird conversations that we've had that kind of rubbed me wrong. And yeah, I don't know if he's good. I know that sounds really bad. That's what's conflicting to me is you read all these things and you hear these stories, and it contradicts the people that you were raised with.
Yeah, and the reason I'm bringing that up is because when I got out of the military, worked as an electrician for a long time, and then I actually got a job at the VA hospital for about 4 years, where I met a whole bunch of veterans that would, some of these guys were pretty old. They were in like hospice kind of care, and they'd always want to tell their story. And
if you knew anybody that knew my dad, I'd love to talk to someone that would.
You can go to a VA hospital for free and talk to these guys if you want to. They would love it. However, what I found, because I know of my military experience and what happened when I was there, a lot of these guys exaggerate what happened, and some of them are just flat out lying.
Yeah.
Actual
I've
veterans.
seen that. There's a lot of that at Fort Bragg, especially when you grow up there. A lot of the guys that come in there and get stationed, you see that often. Not trying to disrespect or anything.
Oh, no.
It's like an ego thing, I think.
If anything, I try and under-exaggerate it because...
See, and my dad was a firm believer in that. Anyone that told you they were bad or, like his more thing was like, you show with your actions. He didn't give a crap about what you said. He was always polite, but, my dad was very firm in manners. But at the end of the day, he didn't take no crap. I really respected him. I thought very highly of him.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things, especially with what you're talking about tonight with the trauma that you experienced earlier in your life. I never experienced that same kind of thing at all. I grew up in a fairly normal, middle class, neighborhood and that kind of thing. But when I got into the military, that's when I started experiencing all the trauma. And what I'll tell you
that's
is
valid.
Oh yeah, I saw some horrific things there. I'm not going to try and go into all the details.
Of course, I don't want to trigger anyone.
Just as an example, the first time you see what a mortar blast does to a person. Okay, so, and what happens is what you have to do is, whether it's online or in a council group, one-on-one with a psychiatrist or a psychologist, or a social worker, or in a group meeting in person, it helps to talk about it.
It's hard too, because I don't know about you, but I can't get out of feelings. So when I talk about stuff like that, I stay in that like mentality or those emotions for a while. You know what I mean? It's talking about certain things. Like I feel like I'm back in them again, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I have overactive adrenal glands now, and I suffer, from PTSD from the trauma. My body thinks that's normal hormones because it's always suffered that.
Well, hopefully it's helping you vent a little bit tonight with a bunch of people you've never met, including myself. So it's awesome to hear from you, because I've listened to a lot of people that have gone through that same kind of experience. Like I have 2 cousins that went through like rape situations.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, the only thing that got them through it was to actually talk about it in public with the family. And
that's brave. Wow, I'm very proud of them.
So yeah, it helps. So I was just kind of calling in just to say hello. I've never seen you online before, but it's good to hear your story. And
now, are you able to look up? I know you said you are military. Like my grandfather, I can find stuff on my grandma. I can find some stuff on my father. I cannot find like hardly anything about my dad or my grandfather at all.
Yeah, there's a problem with God. What year was it? There was a military records facility where a whole bunch of like millions of military records were lost in a huge fire. So
that sucks.
Yeah, it happened sometime like during Vietnam or something like that. Or right.
Do you have any advice on how I could get around getting access to my own TRICARE record? I've been refused it. I've been trying to get it for like 10 years now, just because I feel like with that I could prove the abuse, because I've been telling it for as long as I can remember.
I have no experience with that kind of stuff. Because I have free health care through the VA the rest of my life. All of my medical records are basically there. But if I wanted to go back and look at my medical records from when I was like 9, I would have no idea how to do that.
Okay, so that's something I still need to figure out.
Yeah, if anyone knows how to do that, We do have someone that kind of tunes in on a regular basis. She is an RN, and I'm not sure if you've ever met her before, but she was one of our contestants on the first trivia show, and her name's Ashley, and she might be able to help you out with that a little bit more.
I'd appreciate any advice at all on how to go forward. My main objective is I don't want any money. I don't really care about any of that crap. I just want to be able to look them in the face. I want them to be held accountable because my adopted mother is still alive. Their family's name's Griffith. They own a chain of restaurants up north in Ohio called Lee's Famous Recipe. They own a lot of property. My mother's side of the family was involved in a lot of sadistic activities. I don't know what all I saw. I know what I thought I saw. I don't know if that was a kid's imagination or what. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense when you go through some things. I walked in, okay, my grandfather had 3 houses. He had one in Ohio, he had one in North Carolina, and he had one in Florida. He would travel with the seasons, each of them on a golf course. But the one in North Carolina, I would always go visit at it, during the summer. I wasn't allowed to see my mom because what she had done, but my dad let me see my grandfather. Plus, he had all the money, so he would just do whatever he said. So I would go over there, and one night, I was going downstairs to the little fridge there because my grandpa had a thing of ice cream. And when I walked down the stairs, there was a group of people in black robes with candles everywhere, and there was this weird ass music going on, and I freaked out. I ran upstairs. I didn't know what to think. My grandpa never had any friends over. We played dominoes. Like it was very, it was not like that.
A seance. Like, did you ever see the movie Eyes Wide Shut?
No, I know that his first wife, unalived mysteriously. I don't know exactly how. I know that I was 5 years old, and I swore up and down I saw her in my closet. I know that she died in a hotel room, but I found no documentation about it. I know her name was Gladys Griffith, and this was in Ohio somewhere. But my cousin said that my mom and everyone thought that my grandfather had unalived her for the insurance money. That was like the rumor with the family. But I
think I also heard you talk about 23andMe earlier.
Yes, my birth mother, Kelly Williford.
Right.
She was unalived on my birthday in 2018 at UNC Chapel Hill. But she did a 23andMe test the Christmas before she passed. That was one of her Christmas presents to me.
Be very skeptical about those things because
That's what my grandma told me. Because my mom before, and I have all this in Messenger, on Facebook Messenger, my mom was scared that someone was trying to unalive her. They had cameras up in her hospital room. They were draining of her blood, and they had transferred her to 4 hospitals before she even got to UNC Chapel Hill, and they found out that she was electrocuted from the inside out. I don't know the whole story. I found out, I was at work. This happened on my birthday. I found out on Facebook that my mom had passed. That's how I found out.
Oh, wow.
It was rough. But my mom had kind of mentally prepared me for that moment. Not that she was going to die on my birthday, but, she was scared. She was scared to speak up about a lot of things, and she taught me to speak up too much. I don't know how to shut up.
What do you think she was unalived for specifically?
I know that she had the people that kidnapped me. I know the man's name. I know his name was Rayvon Barefoot Sr., and he was a drug dealer here in Harnett County, North Carolina, and he was a leader of the KKK. Harnett County is still backwoods. There's a lot of people trying to expose this county. I'm not the only kid that was kidnapped out of there, and there's a dark history there. But this man, I guess, my biological mother, was forced to get married once she had found out she was pregnant with me. You either get married or you have an abortion. That was what my grandfather had said. So she married this man's son. This is, I guess, my legal father, not birth father. He, just married her so that I wouldn't have to, get taken away. But my mother didn't know all the stuff that his father was involved in. And I guess she witnessed something, and one of the legal father's sisters was raped. I don't have to filter. I forget. It's not TikTok. Sorry. But yeah, she was raped, and my mom spoke up about that and talked about the drug dealings to, I guess, the Harnett County Sheriff's Department. I don't know who that was, but she went to the police. There was an investigation, and because of her name on that paperwork, I guess he threatened me. I know that she had gone to the movie theaters with Tom that night, and when she came back, her baby was gone. She called the police. She talked to an attorney out here called Jesse Jones. He's actually the attorney that's trying to fight, that county specifically and the corruption that's been going on. He's been fighting it a long time. I'm very thankful for him because he's a lawyer here, at least, that knows my story, that's, I have a lot of local people that knew my mother, that knew me. I grew up around the same area, so thankfully there's at least that. Even though there's a lot of criticism, on this app and on TikTok, I'm really thankful that there's still people alive, because that was one of my fears, is that everyone was going to pass and then I was just going to be stuck and I was going to have to walk it off.
Yeah. Well, tonight is usually a different type of discussion, but it's cool to hear.
Yeah, I know. I usually love coming in and watching his debates. There's a lot of
So what is your
interesting
opinion
stuff
on
that comes
that?
up.
On that side of the argument? On either
On
side?
flat Earth, or
Yeah.
which one are we talking about? I call it parallel Earth. That's my preferred term.
Okay.
I don't think it's completely flat, but I don't think it's a round ball at all. Just going off of historical maps and archives, I like to read.
Okay, cool. Because yeah, that's one of the things that helped me through a lot of my PTSD, was waking up to the idea that we've been lied to so much that
About so much. The
I didn't
civilization
have to worry
before
about all
had
the other stuff I was lied to before.
satellites. They had so much technology, and they don't talk about the exits. There's 4. They always talk about Antarctica, and people that are always talking about the Anunnaki and all that. That's counterproductive to go through up there, when that's all the way down in the southern hemisphere. So you'd still have to go all the way around to get there. It'd make more sense to go through South America, which I don't know how it correlates, but I know that, the Enid, Ohio, that mound that I told you was from 1800 BC, from the Adena tribe. That's around like the Ice Age. That tablet that they found there has like the same writing from the one in Göbekli Tepe. I don't want to say it wrong. In Turkey. It matches there. And then the one in Jalisco, Mexico. I don't know the exact town. I just know it's in between Guadalajara and Jalapa. Or is it Jalapa? I don't know how to say it. I don't know. Sorry. My dad and my grandfather, whenever they would send letters, they would never send it from the exact area that they were from. It was always be within a 50-mile radius. And that's where he would always send his letters, was those 2 towns. So I know it was in the middle of those.
Oh, interesting.
So I have a
But
question.
he said that it all matches. I thought that was
Melodome
cool.
was going to join in.
Yeah, he said he would. So he probably will here any minute. But he did.
I don't want to hog Angela, so
he did just get off work. Mama Needs a Dab has a question. Says, what is something that you are looking to achieve outside of holding these people personally accountable?
I would like to live. I know that sounds really weird, but I feel like I've spent my entire 36 years surviving and adapting, if that makes any sense. Because I've always been socially awkward, and that used to bother me. It doesn't bother me now, but for the longest time, I just wanted to be normal. And so, I think just being able to breathe and be present, and not have to look over my shoulder, and not have to worry about what other people are gonna think. I think that would be nice.
Wouldn't it? To not have to worry about anything. Surviving.
People are gonna talk regardless, but I would just like to, it to be behind me.
Gotcha. Not a bad thing to look forward to at all.
I don't wish evil on any of them. I want them to learn their lesson, but I don't want them punished forever. That's not my place, and I don't want to send that type of energy, because I feel like that makes me no different. You know what I mean? I just want them to learn. You know what I mean? Face your own inner demons, and I hope you get your judgment day, or your chance to make up for it. I don't see how, but that's not my, that's not my place.
Well, certain people that do really wicked things to other people definitely deserve a wicked type of a punishment. And I'm not going to go into the spiritual aspect of it, but let's just pull out some of the worst serial killers in history. I'm not going to name anyone specifically, but if someone does something that bad to someone, no, I wish harm upon them.
And I wish I had that trait, but if my adopted mom was staring me in the face, you'd see me turn into a little kid, and I don't know why. I do know why, because she isolated me. I did not have any social. I had no social skills. If you ask people that knew me when I was a child, they'll all tell you I was a robot. I did exactly what I was told when I was told to do it. There was I was so drugged up, I couldn't form sentences. I couldn't communicate. They would sedate me just so I wouldn't speak about the stuff that was happening at my mom's. And then my dad would spend the entire time taking me off these drugs, whenever he would have me. So then I would crash. That was a lot of up and down. You don't do that with medication. Really good. Especially 7 pills at a time from the age of 5 to 11. That's way too many.
Oh, wow.
No, that's totally normal.
That's why I won my TRICARE records. I just won it. Because they had me on some heavy, heavy stuff that's absolutely not okay, according to my doctor.
I do want to address a comment real quick, because was a little bit of contention around Andrew's comment, right? Some people
Of
believe
course.
that the whole eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind, and I totally get the sentiment. However, I do 100% get the sentiment of evil being met with some sort of evil as a
I just don't
learning
want to push that
mechanism.
back off, if that makes any sense. I don't want to have that on my conscience. I just wish them what they deserve, nothing more, nothing less.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I hope that they can get, I really hope that they can find in their heart, God or whoever, they can find their peace. I don't want people to punish forever. And I know that's a flaw of mine because some of these people I should.
Right.
But I don't know. I care. I don't know how to not.
I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not saying that the people should be punished forever.
They deserve
or
it. I
anything
wish.
like
I mean,
that.
I'm really
they
bad
should
at that.
definitely
I'm
get
so bad at
something.
that. That's a flaw.
People who do
Well,
wrong things.
the
should
reason I
definitely
say
get
that is
something.
for a bunch of different reasons. Like if I see one of my combat, platoon members get shot and killed by the enemy, I'm not going to wish like really bad things upon that guy because he was just doing the same thing we were doing.
Following his orders.
However, if someone kills my parents and cuts off my left arm, I'll do the rest of everything for the rest of my life to hunt them down and get vengeance upon them.
I've been trying, and I don't want to see. I don't want to go to jail. For one, I don't know if I got that in me. I always try to stay out of trouble. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So the problem
Oh,
is,
I understand that. I'm just saying.
I want to hold them accountable legally. I want to look them in the face because I never thought I'd get that far. That no one would
you
ever.
mentioned that your mom stabbed you, which is
My
pretty
adopted
up.
mother did. She lost custody of me. She completely lost her rights away, and it was swept up. She never went to jail. My dad came back from Africa and stepped down to, I think, B Company, because I don't think you're allowed to have custody of your kids when you're in the army like that. I don't know how he was able to go around that, because he did have custody of me, because he wouldn't give custody of me to my stepmom. So I don't know how he was able to deploy and do that. I don't want to. I mean, he's not here, so he can't get in trouble, but I think that was illegal.
the big issue that happens is that, and you'll see this with trauma victims, is that your cortisol levels go so high that it actually enlarges your brain, and it basically puts you into a constant state of fight or flight, which after being exacerbated for so long turns into bipolar mania and split personality and all kinds of other crazy.
There's a lot of stuff that happens. That's why I very highly recommend therapy for anyone that's gone through trauma. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, and the important thing to understand is that it's definitely, the way that you are as a result of that is not your fault.
I agree. I have complex PTSD and generalized anxiety disorder is what they diagnosed me with, as well as ADHD.
But I will also add in that I don't think that any of those disorders is a end all be all, and I think that there's a very good chance.
I think there's a lot of positives that come with some of those, and I think there's a book. It's called Ridiculously Happy, and it's like a positive side of having trauma or anxiety or anything. It's all different mental stuff, and they just got
that on audiobook.
It's a really good book. I loved it. It's a great book. I highly recommend anyone that's just struggling to pick it up. You'll laugh so much. You'll cry too. It's a great book.
Yeah, it's on Audible. So if you ever want to listen to it on Audible, that's where I heard about it from.
Absolutely.
But then you were also mentioning the Jessica Lynch thing, and I was in Iraq when that happened. We heard all about it, and there was a lot of controversy with that, especially later on when I found out about it. Like the whole thing could have just been a scam.
Oh, I'd never heard that part, but I'd be interested. I'd like to know more. I just know about this stuff from my uncle, Uncle Mark. He says he has messages from my dad directly through email talking about that. And he's still alive. He lives in Texas too. And he doesn't mind talking about this. He's trying to get his followers up so he can go in my lives. I actually have a few of my close family, friends from local that are trying to get up so they can at least collaborate if anyone wants to ask questions.
Yeah, the reason I bring that up is because when I was out there, we had all kinds of troops that would get taken as, prisoners of war.
Yeah.
And that was the main one.
They asked him around. My dad's name was Master Sergeant, or his Stephen Maggard. I know he was MSG. I think that's Master Sergeant.
Yeah.
That was his name, if you could ask around.
Sorry, Andrew. What were you saying?
Oh, sorry, bud.
So, out of all the people that went missing, casualties of war or POWs, whatever, they made a big deal about finding this one girl named Jessica Lynch.
There was other people. There was a man.
Navy
There was a
SEALs.
man there that was, like had been there for a long time, and we left him behind to get her.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've seen a lot
That's
of
what I had heard. I was kind of like disgusted.
well, a lot of conspiracy videos where people did in-depth research about it, especially going through, because she wrote a book as soon as she got recovered, and
Nobody is traumatized like that. I'm not trying to talk. I don't want to shame anyone, but usually that takes a little bit of time to process.
Yeah, but she wrote it like really quickly afterward.
See, and I was a kid when all this happened. I was like a teenager. I think like 12, 13. No, like 14 maybe.
Well, yeah, I was in my early 20s, but I was still out there, and I can tell you for a fact that a lot of troops had a really big problem with what was going on.
So then what was he a part of? That's what I would like to know. Why were they covering? Why would they do something like that? Because if it's...
Well, it was a political
I want to get to
they
the
could have
bottom.
focused on any one of the troop recoveries, but they focused on that one girl. I think she was only like an E4 or something like that.
She wasn't high ranking at all.
No, not at all.
That definitely makes sense.
And she wasn't even a part of INCOM. So it was kind of weird.
I could definitely see something like that being a political move just on its face. You don't really have to dig too deep to see that, based off what you guys are saying.
I mean, there's been a lot of false flags here in America, and I hate to be one of those people. I don't usually talk about that subject because it gets a lot of controversy. But I am one of those people that believe that they fake scenarios. They advertise them on Craigslist, and then they delete it. I've seen a few of them.
I have seen a few protest ones advertised back when George Soros was doing it.
We had some in Raleigh.
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other weird thing about Jessica Lynch is she's pretty attractive, or at least she was. Like as soon as she got recovered and she got brought back to base, it's like, oh, she's got her hair done and she's got makeup on, and she's like, there's no cuts or bruises on her face or anything. It's like, if you're a POW, they're gonna beat the shit out of you.
That's kind of like 9/11 because my dad had already deployed before then. I wasn't allowed to go to school that day. He had already deployed like a month beforehand. He was already over there, so I didn't understand that at all. That kind of confused me because that was like the first time anything big like that had ever happened.
But I think it's really good that you were actually raised with a military father figure, because
it is too. He taught me a lot.
Especially in special forces. You probably taught you a lot of
my children know how to make a bow drill. I don't mean to be that mom, but I'm a prepper. Just because I feel like you should prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And that just gives me a little bit.
I've got 6 months of food in my closet. Yeah.
I got a little bit more. My attic is like stuffed. I always buy like a four-person 48-hour bucket a month. That's what I do every month, and I just stock it up.
Okay, cool.
Man, I'll tell this quick story real quick. There was back when I was real young, I think I was like 10 or 11, I went over to my grandparents over in Michigan, and their neighbors were preppers as well, and I didn't know what that meant at the time, and they didn't call themselves that, certainly. It's just looking back, I can see that that's what they were, and we made this really cool, their kids and I were really good friends, so we made this really cool wooden fort out of some broken down trees and stuff, and it was really awesome. We sit out there, and we were like, man, we'd always get hungry, and we didn't want to go and make all meal, so we would just go, and he's like, oh, don't worry, my dad has these little storage meals in his shed.
MREs, yes.
So we start.
Some of those are good. Don't sleep on them.
We start just like hammering them, and before we knew it, like after a month, we pretty much had eaten all of them.
Oh God, I know he was mad.
Dude, I never heard the end of it, but they stopped letting me over. So.
Oh God, no. See, my dad wasn't like that. All the kids always came to our house. He loved everybody. Or that was the persona.
Too many MREs, though.
What's that?
Don't eat too many MREs. They are loaded.
Oh yeah, they go through you.
Well, no, with preservatives, which can either go through you real quick or cause constipation.
Oh God, that'd be horrible. Oh,
that makes sense.
I know that for a fact. I've
eaten
no, many hundreds of MREs.
Oh no! Thank you so much for your service. I appreciate that. I got my butt beat because I refused to sign that paper. My dad took me when I was 17 to go take that out.
I volunteered for it because I thought that I didn't want to go to college at the time, and if there's any job,
I wanted to get as far away from the military as I could, and I ran to Miami like a dumbass. And then from there, I went to Mississippi, and I was stuck in Katrina. That was scary. I was at MSU.
I know that it's that's part of your character and anxiety, but to kind of like talk a little manically. But one thing I have noticed is that you do tend to cut Andrew off quite a bit
Oh, I'm
And
so sorry.
I would
I
appreciate
don't
if
mean to
you.
be rude.
You're fine. I know you don't do it on purpose.
But
I'm just
thanks for
playing.
calling me out.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that helps out a ton. So, um, that way we can, let Andrew finish some sentences.
Of course. Yeah, I don't mean to be
I don't
rude.
mind at all. I understand when people are doing that. I had a girlfriend that was from New York, and I asked her, "Why do you interrupt me all the time?" She's like, "I don't know. It's just part of New York behavior." I'm like, "All right, well, whatever." I got
I
used
get
to
like
it.
so excited when I say something. I don't mean to be rude, but I appreciate when people talk to me about that, so that way, like, I'm aware.
But yeah, in regards to saying thank you for my service, thank you a little bit because I'm not proud of a lot of what I did. I'll tell you that.
Thanks,
I
kinda.
understand that, but I
I
still
was proud at the
appreciate you
beginning.
for writing a blank check with your name on it for our freedom.
Some veterans are very, very proud of it, and some veterans come back and they're like, I killed a whole bunch of innocent people, right?
Mm.
Like, so why are you thanking me for my service?
Oh, I don't. Oh, I
You have
didn't think
to,
about
you
it
have to
like
understand that.
that.
All
I'm
right,
so
someone else just
sorry.
joined in. Bearsworth.
What is up,
Hello.
Bearsworth? Thank you for joining. Little bit of lag.
Hey guys,
Hello.
What is up, my friend? Welcome to the show.
how's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Am I lagging or am I okay?
You're lagging just a
It's
little
lagging a
bit,
little
but
bit.
your audio is coming through all right.
Okay. I won't keep you guys. Digging your conversation and digging your show, troubling, and I'm liking it. One thing I don't know why I'm bringing it up, but you guys listen to Crow 777?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I tried the whole vinegar thing, and Curtis Jones talked about it quite a bit. And he's like, I don't know about boiling vinegar for the chemtrails type of thing.
You said boiling vinegar for chemtrails, like to
Yeah,
help with it, like help cure yourself of the toxins.
or help like break up like maybe clouds and stuff,
I've
and like
actually
the
heard a lot of
haze.
people talking about this. Amanda
Oh,
Vollmer.
I haven't heard this at all. So this is news.
Yeah, you take boiling vinegar or just hot vinegar and you put it out like so the point where it heats up and starts to evaporate when there's chemtrails around and it turns into like a hydrogen or something, goes up into the air and it gets rid of the chemtrails.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure. I tried it for the first time today, so it's a total weird thing. But as soon as I got up, go outside and I'm a smoker. Yeah. But anyways, go for a smoke, and my sky was just like crazy with freaking chemtrails,
I
and I was like, holy shit! And I was like, I'm gonna fucking try this. And I had just bought 3 jugs of vinegar, and Curtis Stone and Crow had said, yeah, boil like at least a gallon. So I stuck it on my barbecue and boiled it. And I looked at the weather report, and it was like rain by 10 o'clock. We're gonna have rain, and it's gonna rain all day. And I was like, fuck, I don't know. But so it's hearsay, who knows? But I did it. I fucking fired it up, and and then I looked at the weather report like an hour later, and it had changed that the rain's not going to come until like 12.
Oh,
And
that's
then
cool.
yeah, anyways, but so who knows? Is all hearsay. But it's cool. Curtis Stone's been doing it for a year, and Crow even said that he knew about this like years ago. But it's interesting. That'd be so cool if it was true and it worked. And like how much money and time that they spend on making these chemtrails, and if you could just, it's a $3
Everybody goes
bottle of
out there and does
vinegar.
that.
Yeah, if everybody just starts doing it, and it's just like fucks them up so bad, and like curse,
the
It's
guy
worth
who
a
like
shot.
the vinegar companies would
that
absolutely
was
love
so
that.
bad.
And vinegar is very
Yeah,
cheap,
but
by the way. If you guys have never
See,
gone
I
out,
always heard like mucus was the root of all disease. That if you cured mucus, because like you have cancer, you have AIDS, mucus secretes throughout your body. That supposedly, if you were to cure that, you
I'm
could
sorry.
cure most
I'm
diseases.
I'm laughing because it seems like it's only Andrew.
I don't mind. Okay.
Oh
Bearsworth just monologued no problem, and as soon as Andrew went to
no!
speak,
I'm so sorry.
it's funny. I'm
It's
the
not.
laugh is real.
Well, no, I was just going to say one quick thing, and that is vinegar is very cheap. It's also a very great preservative if you're going to do like canning and stuff. So you can get like around here, I can get a gallon of it for like $6 or $7 of just like white vinegar. So when
Yeah.
you get up to like apple cider vinegar, that's when it gets a lot more expensive. But just pure vinegar is really cheap.
Oh man,
I know
mine
my
was $3 a gallon at the wholesale store. So I bought like 4 gallons, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking try this. So I tried it first time today, and I'm like, I felt like it worked, but like, this is the first time, and it's probably hearsay. I don't understand how it would work, but Crow was like, maybe thinks that like oxidizes or goes up into the stratosphere.
try and experiment with it. Next time you do it, document it. Write it out, log it, see if you can find a pattern.
Yeah, I'm trying all sorts of stuff, man. I'm trying the electroculture in my garden. Man, I got
Oh, I read
bamboo.
about that's cool.
I got bamboo poles that have wrapped wire 6 feet tall, and I soldered on some mercury bulbs from thermostats onto the top, and then ran the wire in between my garlic patches. And like my garlic is going crazy this year. It's like
That's
the biggest
awesome.
I've ever fucking seen it, and it's just the start of the year, man. They still have 3 months of growing, and it's like the biggest I've ever seen it. That's awesome. Man, boiling vinegar for chemtrails and electroculture, man. I don't know. There could be something there, but I think everybody should try this shit in reality, and let's fucking put it to the test and see what happens. I don't know. It's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. Don't cut anybody off. So
I'm trying.
No,
I'm
you're
joking. I'm just
You're
joking.
fine.
I'm joking.
I don't know if you see me. I keep biting my lip. I'm trying so
I
hard.
will say, Bearsworth, not to poke fun at all, of course, but I can't imagine the irony of like worrying about chemtrails as I'm huffing on a cigarette.
That part. Yeah.
I know. Well, no, I'm thinking more chemtrails as in the form of like geoengineering, like them controlling the weather. So they're controlling the rain
Ah,
and the clouds and covering the sun. Not more than polluting us as a person.
Smoking is a
Like,
horrible habit. I just have bad coping skills.
smoke
yeah,
weed
no,
every day.
I do that too.
It's a little different.
I think it's medicine. I don't know. A lot of it's not legal in my state, so we call it tea parties. But I like the concentrated version. I feel like it's more effective and it lasts longer.
I'm also drinking whiskey, so fuck.
I can't drink. I'm allergic to alcohol. I break out in hives.
I was about to say, oh God, dude, don't tell me you got a pee drinker on the show.
Oh
No,
god.
I'm just,
no. I'm not there. I'm not there yet. That one's a little bit too far.
I'm just messing with you. It's because of the glass. It just looks
Yeah,
suspicious.
no, it's whiskey. It's not this.
This has been an absolutely awesome show. I've had a lot of fun. We've had a great conversation. I'm definitely down to have something like this again. A little bit different Tribune show this time. So I thought it was a great way to wrap up this little chakra series that we were doing. And despite the some of the dark stuff that we were talking about, I do like to highlight the fact that I don't really believe in coincidences, and
I don't know.
I do think that everything does tend to happen for some reason, some sort of reason. So I think that I am thankful that you're here and that you were able to share your story. I hope that we can get this message out to. Looks like her phone just died. You saw the low battery when she was sharing her screen, so I think that's what happened. But we do appreciate having her on. I know she's going to come back and watch the end of this, so we appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your story. It's been very, very interesting, and we will have, we probably have more conversations in the future. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Let me think here. There was something else that I know I'm forgetting, and it's just going to come to me later as I'm laying down. I'm like, oh shit, I should have covered that. But it is what it is. I will say that the child abuse, regardless of what level, it happens on, obviously, the less of that, the better, right? We should try to put a stop to that. Being vigilant, recognizing the signs, and, you know, just not ignoring it. A lot of bad things happen because good people do nothing. So there was actually a really great video on that. It was a prank show, but you could easily. I didn't take it really as like a very good prank because what happened was there was basically like a kid, and they would just have somebody run up and grab the kid in front of somebody else walking to see if they would do anything. And yeah, a lot of times you'll see that most people don't do anything. and it's just absolutely crazy, So it does no surprise that things like what happened to Angela happen and go unnoticed for years and years and years and years. So I do again appreciate her taking the time. Bearsworth, Andrew, do you have any final words before we cut the show? I don't even know if Andrew's still with us. Bearsworth?
Hey, troubling. Sorry to interrupt you guys' show. I just came into my shed and I thought I'd call in.
Oh, no worries, man. We're happy to have you.
Yeah. You guys are awesome. And some electric this shit, man. Like, let's try doing experiments in our own fucking lives. And then we can prove it to the community. And maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it's bullshit. And that's probably true. That's all bullshit. But the more of us that try it, then we can figure the shit out. But anyways, peace out, guys. Thanks.
Peace. Andrew, any final words?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up one thing I just remembered. You guys were talking about remote viewing through the CIA.
Yes.
And that was actually one of the trivia questions for you and Jaron. I don't know if you guys got it right or not.
I got it right immediately.
What's that?
I got it right immediately.
Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah. Stargate, that was the one. But I think you mentioned something else tonight, which was...
Looking Glass.
Looking Glass. Yeah, I've got to look into that one.
So Looking Glass is the one where they use remote viewing to go as far as they can into the future, and they basically come to this event that is humanity's awakening, essentially. We all find out that they've been lying about the physics and about reality this whole time, and then we, I guess we take shit back. I don't know. I didn't go through the Looking Glass to find out.
All right, sounds great. Thank you for having me on, and I will talk to you next time.
Absolutely, Andrew. Thanks for coming on. Always a pleasure. And let's play some more chess for sure. Get our last little game going. All right, folks, it's been a hell of a show. We are at time, so let's go ahead and do this little number. Pull it back. Pull it back. Of course, my camera's all out of whack. Oh, my goodness. What in the heck? Now my background's gone, too, because I got rid of it. Oh, well. What are you going to do? Anyway, a lot of people think I do the show from a basement in my parents' house, but instead I do it from my sister's closet. So get a load of that, right? Let's transition that back on over. It's a little bit better. Okay, awesome. Guys, I appreciate you coming on. Huge shout out. RNG with the... Oh, my goodness. Got to check that. Always got to shout out the fans who support. We do appreciate you. Huge shout out to RG for the $5 tip. That is super awesome, man. We appreciate the support. Folks, you can also support at buymeacoffee.com/Tribune and Cash App, MrTribune. We really appreciate all the love and support. Mama Needs a Dab, MC Hip Chase, Jay Kraft, Lord Racer, Bearsworth, Setneg, Jeremy Bird, Brianna Lynn, Nominal, Airrock Forever, 77, Byron, Shifty Eyes Shady. So many great new faces in here. I really appreciate you guys making it. If I missed you, I do apologize. Melodome, sorry if you were going to hop on. That's all good. We are going to go ahead and shout out Nuba, RG. We also got FE Nation and David Harbor, Warning Skydome, and the rest. We appreciate you guys tuning in over on the Rockfin side. Let's go ahead and get a fabulous song queued for you guys to close out the show. And I will catch you guys later this week, Wednesday, for another debate-style show. Not sure exactly what we're going to be doing just yet, but whatever we decide, you know it's going to be absolutely fire. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get... Where are you? All right, I'm just going to have to cheat and go to the playlist. Not going to make you listen to the commercial again, though. So you guys can thank me for that. And let's get this song going. All right, folks, I will see you next time. Thanks again. The support is appreciated. Until then, peace out.